What if you were unaware of an impending invasion? Picture this, the J&K Regiment, a formidable force, dispersed in small groups along the far-flung borders of the state, oblivious to the imminent threat. The calm before the storm, if you will. The Jammu Brigade, a vital component of this regiment, was spread across a vast area. The brigade headquarters and Jammu and Kashmir Rifles and Regimental Center were stationed in the Jammu cantonment. The 5th Jammu and Kashmir Rifles, along with the Jammu and Kashmir Bodyguard Cavalry, were scattered in subunits from Kathua to Bimbar, their presence like a thin veil of security draped along the border. Meanwhile, the Kashmir Brigade was holding fort in the north. The brigade headquarters, along with the Jammu and Kashmir Training School and a squadron of the Bodyguard Cavalry, were stationed in the area of Badambagh Cantonment. The 4th, 6th, and 7th Jammu and Kashmir Rifles were distributed across various areas including Domel, Kohala, Kairan, Bunji, Kargil, Skardu, and Srinagar. In the Punch area, the force headquarters was stationed with the 1st, 8th, and 9th Jammu and Kashmir Rifles spread across the base area and the Rawalkot area. The Mirpur Brigade, another crucial part of the regiment, had its headquarters at Dharamsal Jangar. The 2nd and 3rd Jammu and Kashmir Rifles were spread across Naushera, Dharamsal Jangar, Mirpur and their respective outposts, providing a layer of security to the region. Each unit, each soldier, a cog in the grand machine of defense, stationed and ready. Yet the ominous shadow of the unknown loomed large. Unbeknownst to them, an invasion was brewing, an invasion that they were woefully unprepared for. Their strength was their unity, but their distribution, their isolation, was their vulnerability. In the face of an unknown threat, the J&K Regiment stood scattered and vulnerable. Knowledge of one's disposition is a key aspect of military strategy. Let's explore the disposition of the Jammu and Kashmir Regiment. These troops were stationed in small groups along the far-flung borders of the state. The Jammu Brigade was headquartered in Jammu Cantonment with the 5th Jammu and Kashmir Rifles, J&K Bodyguard Cavalry, and 4 garrison police companies spread out from Kathua to Bimbar. The Kashmir Brigade had a similar layout. Its headquarters, along with the Jammu and Kashmir Training School, were located in Badambagh Cantonment. The 4th, 6th, and 7th Jammu and Kashmir Rifles were dispersed throughout the region, with companies stationed from Domel to Srinagar. The Punch area was home to the headquarters of the force, with the 1st, 8th, and 9th Jammu and Kashmir Rifles spread throughout the base area. The Mirpur Brigade was headquartered at Dharamsal Jangar, with the 2nd and 3rd Jammu and Kashmir Rifles stationed throughout the region. The 4th Jammu and Kashmir Infantry held the Domel front. At Domel, the troops were composed of equal parts Dogra and the Muslims. The battalion headquarters found its home here, with the main strength of the defenders concentrated in this area. Furthermore, strong defenses were established at Lohar Gali, manned by the C Company. The approach roads from Murree and Abbottabad led towards Srinagar along the Jhelum Gorge, with Domel separated from Muzaffarabad by the Jhelum River. This bridge was a key strategic point, offering control over the 2 approach roads. The outposts at Lohar Gali and Ramkot, on the Pakistan border, were the key to the whole defenses. In this disposition, the forces of J&K Regiment were spread thin, with the bulk of their strength focused on Domel. Unbeknownst to them, their strategic positioning would soon be tested. Their disposition, while seemingly sound, had a fatal flaw. The forces were scattered, with their strength concentrated in key areas, leaving the rest vulnerable. With their forces spread thin, the J&K Regiment had unknowingly set the stage for the impending invasion. In military warfare, the element of surprise can turn the tide of battle. As we delve into the invaders' plan, we find that surprise was indeed their most potent weapon. Their strategy was tactically sound, a testament to their cunning and ruthless ambition. In the initial stages, their execution was brilliant, a meticulously crafted design that took into account the terrain, the strength of their forces, and their opponents' vulnerabilities. The invaders were not a ragtag army. They were a formidable force armed with more than just rifles. Light machine guns were also part of their arsenal, offering them a distinct advantage in firepower. Their means of transportation was as unconventional as it was effective. They commandeered around 300 civilian lorries, a strategy that not only allowed them to move quickly, but also helped them blend with the local traffic, further enhancing their element of surprise. It was a plan that reflected a deep understanding of the battlefield, an appreciation of the nuances of warfare, and a willingness to exploit every opportunity. the invaders' numerical advantage was another critical element of their plan. Their force was large enough to launch a frontal attack along the motor road, a move that was as bold as it was risky. But the invaders were not deterred. They knew the importance of seizing key strategic points, and they were prepared to gamble. Their plan was not without its challenges, though. The terrain was difficult, and the defenders were experienced and well-trained. The invaders would have to fight every step of the way, overcoming not only the physical obstacles but also the resistance of the J&K regiment. Yet the invaders were confident, their plan was in motion, and they were ready to strike. The stage was set, and the pieces were moving. The J&K regiment, committed in tiny groups along the far-flung borders of the state, had no inkling of the storm that was about to hit them. Unbeknownst to the J&K regiment, the invaders had already set their plan in motion. In the silence of the unsuspecting state, the wheels of invasion were already turning. Unbeknownst to the scattered units of the Jammu and Kashmir regiment, an impending storm was brewing. Their far-flung positions, spread thin across the expansive borders, left them vulnerable, their attention diverted elsewhere. Precariously positioned, they were unaware of the looming threat. The capture of Gari, sitting strategically on the Jhelum Valley Road between Domel, bore a significance that was yet to be understood. A crucial link, a potential chink in the armor of the regiment's defenses. Its capture could mean a crippling blow to the regiment, opening a pathway to the heart of the state. The obliviousness of the Jammu and Kashmir regiment was the invaders' advantage, the element of surprise their lethal weapon. As the wheels of invasion turned, the ticking clock echoed in the silence. As the state slumbered, the shadow of invasion crept closer, poised to change the course of history.